YouTube, Davey VTV, Davey V with you. And I am in beautiful Mount Hope Cemetery in Rochester, New York, on an absolutely beautiful, and I mean beautiful, February day. Look at that sky. So, one of the things that I want to start doing again, I say again because for those of you that have been following Davey VTV, right, for a while, you may remember I have visited beautiful Mount Hope Cemetery in the past. We've actually done some videos on Frederick Douglass, right, who was buried here, as well as Susan B. Anthony. And I'm going to start doing more of that. In other words, more cemetery videos, not just here, but anywhere where there's an interesting story, right? Interesting, story of a person that unfortunately are many times forgotten. And while I wasn't planning on coming here because the weather has been just super cold, I mean, ice everywhere and a lot of snow, but the fact that this day here is so beautiful, I thought, you know what, let's get out there ASAP. And that's what we're doing. So I will probably end up doing another video later when the weather really gets nice. Kind of like a longer video, right? Let's just say that. But like I said, I just wanted to get out here. And the grave that I want to feature today, and the young girl who I'd like to feature today, is Stephne Givens. Now, from anybody from the, let's go this way. Try to figure out how to get over here. For anybody from the Rochester, New York area, that name, oh wow, it is deep here. That name may sound familiar. And Stephne Givens was a beautiful soul, a beautiful person who, unfortunately and tragically, on September 21st, 1995, she was murdered senselessly. Another girl at Jefferson Middle School in Rochester, New York, stabbed Stephne to death. Let's see if we can get over here on this side with a little better light. There we go. And just a very tragic story, absolutely senseless. And it is to date, it is the first and only time in Rochester, New York history that a student has been killed on school grounds. And one of the biggest things that I want to start doing on the channel, like I said a few minutes ago, is basically make sure that a lot of these folks, in this case, a young girl, by the way, Stephanie was only 12 years old when she was killed. And I just want to make sure that these stories, these faces are not forgotten. Let me get a little close here. And yeah, it definitely shocked the Rochester community. Again, the first time ever in history that a student has been killed on school grounds. It sparked a lot of response as far as they put up metal detectors at every single school in Rochester, middle school and high school, and after her death. And one of the things that just really, to me, and maybe some of you can relate, to me, what bothers me, one of the things that bothers me the most, right, is this girl. She was a Girl Scout. She had won several awards. Her mother described it best. The individual, okay, who stole her life, who stabbed her, who took her from this world, okay? I'm sorry. Stephanie was 13 years old. I apologize. She was 13. The individual who took her life was a fellow student named Michelle Wright. Michelle Wright. And she was 12 years old. And one of the things, obviously, the simple fact that Stephanie was murdered, but when I say senseless, any murder really is senseless, right? But when you see how petty it was, basically, Michelle Wright was jealous that her so-called boyfriend, and I say so-called because, come on, at 12 or 13, maybe it's a crush or something, but obviously it's nothing serious at that age, right? But at 12 years old, she was jealous. Michelle Wright was jealous that her boyfriend, again, quote unquote, so-called boyfriend, thought that Stephanie was cute. And for that simple reason, Michelle Wright thought that she had the right to take an innocent life from this world. So that makes me so sad. I've been coming here for years. It's a story that I've told my children, and with a teachable lesson to it about how one really has to be careful, right? And it's just evil in every sense. But perhaps one of the most disturbing things after the crime is that after the senseless murder and Stephanie's death, is that because of the laws in New York State, Michelle Wright was 1 month away from turning 13, so therefore could not be charged with murder, right? So instead, she was charged with manslaughter and assault, and long story short, basically was sentenced to 18 months. That's right. 18 months. Now let that sink in for a second and just think about that. Stephanie Givens has her life stolen at the hands of an individual who basically had absolutely no respect, no regard for Stephanie, and stabbed her, by the way, as soon as they got off the school bus. And another thing that just makes me really sad is Stephanie's mother, who, by the way, God bless her soul. God bless her heart, because a beautiful person in every way. She basically forgave Michelle Wright immediately. She said she was not upset. She was not angry at her. She was hurt. And that takes a very special, very big person to do that. You know what I mean? To forgive someone for taking your child like that so senselessly. But another thing that just it's just very sad is, again, because of New York State laws, Michelle Wright was 1 month away from turning 13, so could not be charged as an adult. So, in essence, got a slap on the wrist for taking a life. And that, to me, just disgusts me on every level. And I think often as time goes on, right, and we all get older, right, I think of all the things that Stephanie missed. You know what I mean? The prom, her driver's license, right? Just all the memorable stuff that, like, teenagers, she was obviously in her first year as a teenager, she was 13, graduations, right? Just her family, and the fact of, I wonder what Stephanie would have been, what would she have become? To take a beautiful life like that is something that has always stuck with me over the years, and just absolutely just disgusts me. Another thing is that Michelle Wright basically got away with complete anonymity Her face was never shown, right? Because of her age, right? Again, she got a slap on the wrist, 18 months. And I wonder sometimes, what Stephne would be doing right now if she was still alive, right? Would she be married? What kind of job? What kind of career? Would she have kids, right? But I also wonder, is Michelle Wright tormented and haunted by what she did? And I, for one, hope she is. I hope that every single day of her life, Michelle Wright is literally haunted and tormented by the evil that she did of taking a beautiful life. And again, it's hard to stop here because if you know Davey B, I could talk on and on. But this one here hits different. This one here hits personal for me on every level. And I remember when it happened. Obviously, I remember the day that it happened. I remember when it was breaking news, and it was just unbelievable that a child is not safe on school grounds. And I'll end with this here. And again, we'll do another video another day, better, right? A little longer. I'll end with this. Stephanie's mother, Ada Givens, basically said that what was really sad is Stephne Givens didn't even have an interest in boys. At that age, her mother said, yeah, she may have thought like a certain boy is cute or whatever, but she wasn't like a lot of other females nowadays who are fast, who, are doing things at a young age that they shouldn't be doing. No, this beautiful child right here loved her family, again, was a Girl Scout, was a very just good person. And again, it just really, really, I cannot tell you how much over the years, this is a case that has always bothered me, really, really bothered me. And again, I just wanted to, I know I'm getting long-winded here, but I wanted to basically, make sure that some of these folks are not forgotten, and especially senseless crimes like this, right? Like Stephne Givens. So as you can see, in loving memory of Stephanie Jamel Givens, May 19, 1982, September 21st, 1995, forever in our hearts. By the way, I want to send a special shout out to the only person in Rochester media who I really respect, and that's Gary Craig, a veteran news reporter, a writer, who actually helped me dig up some old articles. And again, I may share some of the photos and stuff in this video, but if not, I will definitely do another in-depth video another day. And again, this is something that I'm going to, it's part of the part of new content that I'm adding to the channel. So again, God bless Stephne Givens. Very, very sad story. But again, I just want to make sure that her name and her face are not forgotten. As always, thank you for watching Davey B TV.